Hi everyone, this is Lynzee, the Ascended Unicorn, and I'm here today to do the Capricorn birthday message for the year ahead using our wonderful Unicorn Friends decks. Please look at the description below if you guys are interested in following my Instagram channel. I do daily readings and some pick a cards on that channel as well. And my email is also below if you're interested in private readings. You can always email me there and we can set something up. I do video and also Zoom live readings. But today we're going to be tapping into the Capricorn energies for all you Cappies out there. Happy birthday. We'll be looking at some overall crowning energies for your personal direction, as well as a 7-card spread to talk about guidance for the year ahead, as well as lessons you can take forth into this next year. And then we'll end out with some spirit messages and affirmations to wrap it up. Please note this is a collective reading. Therefore, not all messages or this message may not resonate completely. But please just take what does and you kind of toss out the rest. You'll know what resonates with your intuition. All right, so let's get started. I've already pre-shuffled these pretty well, but we'll give them a couple shuffles. So we're going to start with our Oracle of the Unicorn deck. And we're going to get some personal energies. First card will be what's working well for you currently, what you need to potentially work on moving forward, and then just a card from spirits. So here we go. All right, so we have flow for what's working well, beloved for what you potentially could be working on going forward, and then abundance, which is the message from spirit. So with flow, what's working well for you right now is definitely you're kind of just letting things go as they should. You're not necessarily trying to take control of things. You're going about your daily life, just taking things as they come. You're not trying to make really hard and definitive plans that potentially could lead up to some kind of disappointment later. Flow state is also a point of finding like some kind of peace and inner peace and direction in your spiritual journey as well. So when you're in your flow state, you find it easier to do the things that really you find are your passions, and you find it motivation to do those things. So flow state is a really, really awesome place to be. Maybe you're working towards a new career, a new business that you're trying to start, or maybe just a new creative passion, whether it be from crafting or maybe you're doing tarot, or maybe you're doing yoga, or whatever it is that you find your passion in. You find yourself in that flow state, which actually like can trickle down into your day-to-day life. Therefore, you're really finding that state of being that is of most benefit to you. What you potentially could be working on. This says, beloved, prepare for your life partner. Romance is returning to your relationship. Believe you are lovable. So I think this has to do with a little bit with self-worth. Maybe you've had tumultuous relationships in the past, or you are currently in one that seems a little one-sided, or potentially you're struggling to really find that honeymoon phase again, or the place of balance in your relationship. But you have to remember that you have to believe that you deserve that before you can attract that. So once you're able to understand that you deserve the kind of relationship that you need and want, and that the needs that are personal needs that you need in this relationship are worthy and are not asking too much, those are the things that will come. But you have to truly believe that and come to peace with that in yourself. So that could just be something you need to work on going forward into the next year. And then message from spirit is abundance. Being in this flow state, you're really calling in all the goodness that comes into you. But you have to really you have to feel that you deserve all of this abundance coming in. So the flow state is the first step. Once you get into that flow state, it kind of leads into figuring out that you have that you have self-worth and self-love and self-value, which leads into this attracting abundance that Spirit's going to bring in for you. We see this rainbow that's like kind of faded in the background because it's starting to appear. I don't think it's fading back. I think it's coming in. So remember, this card says, enjoy the bounty of life. Your supply is unlimited. Blessings are coming to you. So that's kind of an affirmation that you're doing the right thing with this flow state. And once you believe that you deserve all of the things that you need and want, they will be yours. Okay. So these are some really good crowning personal energies coming in for you. So we're going to kind of set those over. And we're going to go into some directional energies. So we're going to do a past energy, where you're coming from, present energy, where you are now, and what possible outcome for future or future energy is coming in for you. So past, present, and future. All right, we got 2 future cards. Also, I do, just a reminder, I always do a bottom of the deck message. So I do take, after we pull from each deck, I take the bottom card from each deck and I use that as a little wrap-up message at the end of the reading. So just a little reminder of that. Okay, so in the past, we have the silence. Be still, for all the answers lie in the silence. So I think in the past, this card actually kind of reminds me of the 4 of Cups in the tarot, where there's usually someone sitting here who's either looking off into the distance or not paying attention to the goodness that is around them. This card feels a little sad, although maybe this past year you kind of took some time to be alone, to have your personal silence, to kind of find the answers that you're looking for. Maybe you had some energy around you last year where you didn't feel you were heading in the right direction, or you were prioritizing the right things. So you needed to take some time to, this also kind of reminds me of the Hermit card too, where you need to have that time alone to figure out what it is that you want for yourself, your life, the direction you want to go, what truly matters in your life, and what is it that you want from your spiritual path and your guides as well. Currently, we have divine sight, see the divine in everyone. So I think moving away from this like hermit phase or 4 of Cups phase, you're now surrounding yourself again with family and friends and loved ones. I know it's difficult with how things are right now in the world, having to social distance, but you're finding ways to connect. And I also think with the divine sight is you're during that time of silence, you may have been doing a lot of self-care, working on strengthening your connection with the divine and your gifts, and you're able to help people around you, which kind of leads you to helping yourself, because that's fulfilling, right? If that's something that you really enjoy, and that's one of your being in your flow state of being this passion, which, that kind of connects, like being in your flow state and being able to connect with other people and help other people, because that's what drives you, as, someone who is connected with source and spirit and your guides and your angels. So that's where you are currently, and you see this little unicorn, which I think is your energy, where you're just kind of like shining, you're in your flow state, you're really like radiating this goodness out into the world, and it's going to come back for you, you're going to find it. You're going to find this abundance, and you can see as we go into the future outcome, we have rainbow. There's a rainbow beyond the clouds, which again, we saw this with the abundance card, with the rainbow that's coming in for you. And then your intuition, listen to your inner wisdom. So you really, come from this silence place, and strengthened your gifts of intuition and how you want to see the world and approach the world and help people. So this is just another, again, confirmation about listening to your inner wisdom. Also, there's this gold ball here, which I recently actually just did a Kundalini yoga course, and this gold ball was referenced when we did the solar plexus exercise. So that might be something that you want to strengthen or work on as well, as strengthening that solar plexus chakra within. But again, great progression here, from going from silence and doing your personal work and your personal like realizing what it is you want to work on and what you need to better in yourself, moving into this divine sight that you have, where you can see through things and stay in your flow state, that do things that you're passionate about, so that that as you were in your science reprioritized, and then you can see the rainbow coming in and your strengthened intuition, which is your future, like into this next year, like just going forward, like there's good things coming. Just continue to listen to your intuition and those signs and syncs that spirit is providing you. So I want to use this little thing just to maybe start collecting the rainbows, because I have a feeling we're going to be seeing those a little bit throughout. So we'll do that. All right, now we're going to move into the main kind of core of the reading here. This is the 7-card spread, and this is just going to talk about the year ahead, lessons that you can take from 2020 into 2021, going into your personal new year, and then maybe some advice and lessons, next steps, and what to expect as far as what's coming in for you next year, and maybe any challenges that might be coming in for you next year as well. So the first card is your sunset, lessons from this past year and or accomplishments. Oh, this is a great combination. So lessons from your past year of accomplishments. I mean, we see this 8 of Cups, which is, you've challenged some things, you've left some things behind as you were in your silence and decided to leave some things behind. And you've come out the other side, the 9 of Pentacles. Really, this is like the strong, powerful person that has all their ducks in a row, I could say, in a way. Maybe not completely, but you have your vision and you have your mission in mind, and you're sitting in your power, and you can see her also being really nice to this unicorn, petting it. So you also have this compassion that you're able to exude out to others, while also staying strong in what you know, and definitive in what you know, and you have all this stability around you as well. So definitely you ended 2020 on a really good note. You ended your personal year coming into, January on a very good personal note. So definitely be proud of where you're coming from going into this next year. Card number 2 is what's on the horizon, what's coming up to expect. Let me get one more card on this. So what to expect, 10 of Swords and 8 of Rods. So I think 2020 might have been preparing you, to be in this really strong place, to really come into 21, to conquer some of, typically the 10 of Swords, you don't see 2 people here. But in this deck, we see 2 people, this person actually stabbing this person in the back, but it looks like the same person to me. it's almost like yourself. So I think 2020 was really preparing you for maybe some self-sabotage, or potentially um, you being too afraid to do something. And Eight of Rods is like swift action. So something, and communication also, something that may be coming up for you as what to expect is you might be conquering your fears. You might be conquering those tendencies of self-sabotage. So again, coming out of this really stable energy, and like coming from leaving these like toxic or whatever it was that you left behind here, bad situations, toxic situations, bad relationships, bad job, maybe just reprioritizing, whatever that was that got you to this stable place, you're able to really take swift action. And see how he's like shooting this bow and arrow like into this card, kind of. You're really like stabbing, maybe you're killing all your fears and your tendencies to self-sabotage. So that's really cool. That's really good energy to be on. I feel a lot of strength coming from you, and or in this energy right now. So there's a lot of good, strong energy here, and confidence. So that's really good. Let's take a look at number 3. Card number 3 is your challenges. Oh, cute. Okay, so we have Page of Cups reversed, King of Rods reversed, and Queen of Rods reversed. The challenge, I see this as a relationship challenge. We obviously have King and Queen of these are King and Queen of Wands typically, but they're just called rods in this deck. And with them reversed, it could potentially mean that their relationships may be a little bit of a struggle for you this year, or continue to be a struggle for you this year. We also saw, the beloved, kind of like making sure that you feel that self-value. So that might be a continual struggle that you might be working on throughout the year. Some kind of emotions aren't being completely handed to you, which may cause some kind of frustration. Or you find you might be chasing, or have a tendency to chase in relationships, chase this cup of love, and it doesn't necessarily work out for you. Typically, when these two cards are, or when these suits are reversed, it's also either can be jealous feelings, or ego feelings. So jealousy may be something that comes up for you in relationships because of insecurities. And again, that self-love thing, if you're very confident in yourself and secure in yourself, jealousy doesn't tend to come up as much. So maybe those are just some things to keep in mind as you go into this next year for relationships. In terms of like work life and everyday life, it could just mean that you may be feeling undervalued potentially, or not appreciated. So just keep that in mind too, going into either your work life or everyday life. It may just be in your head a little bit. Kind of take some time maybe to do either a little bit of shadow work to to like kind of see where that comes from, or just take a minute when you start feeling those feelings of feeling self or like underappreciated, or not valued, where that's coming from. Is it coming from a trigger in you, or a wound in you, or do you truly feel that this is being projected onto you in a real way? So that would be my advice for your challenge, okay? So we'll move these over here. All right, so we'll move into placement number 4, which is your strengths and how to harness them. Your strengths and how to harness them for Capricorn birthday. So we got the sun reversed. And the Five of Cups, I'm actually going to take one more card on this. One more card on strengths and how to harness them for Capricorn. Five of Cups and the Hermit. So you're getting, you've gotten a lot of energy about moving away from something. Like I mentioned in the Silence card, it reminded me of Four Cups of like not paying attention. Eight of Cups is walking away from something. Five of Cups is maybe potentially being upset about something. But we have the Sun and the Hermit reverse surrounding it. So I'm getting this feeling that, I mean, even though the Sun is reversed, it's never like a negative card. It's always a positive card. I think when it's in reversal, it's just not as obvious. So I think your strength is, and then with the Hermit reverse too, it's like, I think your strength is when you feel upset, you're able to pull yourself out of it fairly quickly. It may take like you see the sun around you and you take the time that you need to like come out of it, and then you're able to move on. That is a strength. You're able to move on quickly. And you can kind of see in this Five of Cups card, he doesn't look that upset. Most Five of Cups cards has the individual with like their head in their hands or very upset. And this one, you're kind of just looking at the cups, the Three of Cups spilt, but you have these two cups behind you. So, you know, well, that was that. I still got two cups. We're good to go. And when you have the Sun and the Hermit behind, like on the sides behind you, like surrounding you, you don't totally go into like a hermit phase where you need to, you know, be by yourself for a week to recover. And it's not like you're delusional and you look forward to the sun and say, oh, well, everything is just bright and shiny. You're a realist. You figure it out. You can move on. And I think that is a good strength is you can take the lessons quickly out of something and not really wallow in it too long. Just be careful that it doesn't make you feel or doesn't make you appear that you're either like cold or robotic of some sort or unemotional, that some people could potentially perceive that you as that because you're able to move on so quickly. But just remember this card here where you have this compassion. You can see this compassion in your stability, and apply it to this strength of yours. I think that is like a really beautiful combination to have, is be able to pick up a lesson really quickly from your hurts, be able to find the light, take your moment, but then rise above it, but keep your compassion. That is a really great like trait to have. So we're going to move into placement number 5, which is advice, lessons, and next steps. Take one more. Grab these off the ground. Oh, you got a whole bunch more actually. So we had the Four of Pentacles pop out first, and then I wanted to just get a little bit of clarification here. But at first, it looks like, you know, typically it's like holding on to something. So maybe don't, like in this one specific, typically you see like a person like sitting with like grabbing their coins really tightly. But in this one, this card, this man looks very like confident and holding his pentacle behind him, stepping on these other ones, knowing that they're not going anywhere. So I think for me, in this instance, it's telling me you are standing confident in what you know and what you desire and what you want. Again, we just need to get, you to work through some of that self-worth stuff, but you got it. Like your advice is to continue to stand in this confidence and continue to know that things are going to work out for you and that you're going to continue to be stable in this Nine of Pentacles energy if you continue to be in this flow state. And then we got some clarification cards, King of Pentacles, the Fool reversed, Judgment, and Six of Pentacles reversed. So for me, this combination underneath this Four of Pentacles, or clarifying this Four of Pentacles, we have this King of Pentacles, which is definitely like someone who can provide for themselves and provide stability for themselves financially, also emotionally, as well as like make sure you can, basically you can take care of your own self. Basically, you don't necessarily need someone. So standing in this power to know that you are stable, and whatever you bring into you, it's not that you quote unquote need it to come in, but it's something that you desire, or it's something that will benefit you, or bring some kind of happiness or abundance to your life. We have the Fool reverse, which just means like I don't think you need to restart anything. I don't think there's new ideas that need to come. I think it's continuing to work on the things that you've been working on. Whatever that idea that you kind of like birthed last year or over the last couple of years, continue to make that a reality. Like you don't need to start again. You'll be stable with this idea that you've been working on. Judgment, I think, is making this idea come into fruition. And then, your Six of Pentacles is just making sure you don't get taken advantage of, like making sure that you're not, that whatever idea that you're investing in, that you're not allowing other people to take that value away from you, or attach to you somehow to benefit for themselves, and not have that reciprocity between you. So if you end up getting into any like contractual situations in a business or something like that, make sure that it's fair. Something else that just came through as I was saying that is, maybe this is a really specific message, so I don't know, this may not probably resonate for everyone, but if you have already started some kind of business and have already taken on partners or clients or staff, just be careful of this. There potentially could be some fairness that you need to equal out. If you guys are arguing over something, stand your ground. Continue to stand in your King of Pentacles to protect your own assets. It'll work out. It's just, I see it working out. You just have to like stand. You see a lot of this Pentacles energy, so it has to do with, your stability and your money and your material. So just make sure that you're standing your ground in this situation. So that was a really specific message for someone. But in general, I'm seeing that whatever idea that you had birthed in 2020, just keep the course, keep in your flow state. We see a lot of green here. So I definitely see that it really resonates for you in the heart space, in the heart chakra. So this is something that you desire from a really good place. And it's also the color of money. So we do see, we see green, we see green everywhere here. So, just continue to do the things that you are passionate about and you've already started to work towards, and you will find this abundance here that we see coming in with these rainbows, right? Number 6 placement is guidance for the year ahead. So what's some guidance for Capricorn for the year ahead? Guidance for Capricorn for the year ahead. Oh, I think that was reverse, actually. I'll take one more. Oh, here we go. So guidance for the year ahead, we have the Moon reversed and the Seven of Cups. So to me, this is coming out of some fog potentially, or some confusion after realizing how you feel about something. I think in terms of going forward as guidance for the year ahead is like, don't hold back your emotions. Don't try and be so guarded in your emotional space, like try and be a little bit more open to showing people what you're saying to avoid confusion, either for yourself or how other people perceive you or treat you or deal with you. Actually, I want to take one more card on this too. So one more card for Capricorn for guidance. Why is the moon reversed here? Okay. And we have Three of Swords reversed and the Hanged Man. So this could actually be specific to relationships. I know that we did see a little bit of relationship stuff come up here with your, Queen and King of Rods with the Page of Cups. So guidance for the year ahead is maybe just don't be so guarded and to avoid confusion in relationships. It could be romantic. It could be just with people in general. We want to avoid heartbreak, right? Like that's what the Three of Swords card is. It's usually heartbreak, and you can see it upright as people walking away from each other or turning away from each other because these swords have caused so much pain. And the Hangman is typically some kind of like either stuck or stagnancy, but it could also mean a change in perspective. So maybe just going into the next year, like think about changing the way that you approach relationships with your guard and how you express yourself emotionally. You don't want to have hidden feelings that people don't know about because then they won't know. The more you hold back in relationships on both sides, the more confusion it causes, right? Communication is really important. I personally have been working on this myself, so I completely, relate to this message. But you can avoid a lot of hurt and conflict just by talking about your emotions, not holding back to avoid this kind of confusion, You don't want people to, if you're really into someone, you don't want people to think you want to keep your options open. You want them to know, like, you're the person I want to put my energy into. You're the person I want to be with, or even as a friend, like you want to know I love you. You're my friend. I want to spend time with you. I don't want you to think that I don't want to spend time with you, that kind of stuff. And then the Hanged Man, I think just like take some time to pause and think about it before you react rashly to something or decide how you're going to express your feelings. Just change your perspective, be calm. You can see in this card, he's like really chill. Like a lot of the time you see the Hanged Man with like this big light around his head and like I don't know, he just seems, usually he seems a little bit more like there's a different energy in a Hanged Man card about, I don't know, like waiting for something. And in this card, I think that's what it feels like, waiting for something in other Hanged Man cards. And in this one, he's kind of just like, well, I'm here. I'm just going to go with how it goes, again, with your flow state. So that's a theme that's been coming up this whole time. So definitely continue to just kind of take things as they come. Don't try and make any really hard and fast plans and we all know that we are on a divine path and we have a divine fate and divine timing is always at play here. So just continue to approach the world like this, just go with what comes to you and react in those ways. But when you react, make sure that you're expressing what needs to be expressed, All right. Last card is your clarity and personal theme for the year. And that's card number 7. Take one more. All right, so you got King of Cups as your personal theme, King of Cups reversed. So again, I think that has to do with definitely like being a little bit more open and communicative with your feelings, because typically when the King of Cups is upright, he's someone who's very like emotional. It's not that he doesn't have emotions, because he does. He's the King of Cups, King of the emotions. But it means that he's very calculated about the way he expresses those emotions, and he's also very reserved and potentially can have a tendency to hold things back. So seeing this reverse as your theme, again, kind of goes with this moon reverse. Like you want to be more expressive. So don't be this reserved King of Cups. Like be more open with your emotions. And then it was clarified by the Magician reversed, the Four of Swords, and the World reversed. So if you have a tendency to use your words in a way to manipulate a situation or get what you want, maybe just, again, think about a different approach like we talked about with the Hangman. Or if there's someone in your life that does that, try and pay attention to that a little bit more. I know all of us have a tendency to, when we have discussions, say things to kind of get the outcome that we want. But there's no need to do that in a relationship if there's open communication, You don't want to be sitting and you also don't want to be in a relationship where you're in this Four of Swords energy, where you're just kind of complacent and hanging out, and as this King of Cups reversed, coming, like not being so careful with how you express yourself and not being so holding back and reserved, you can avoid this kinds of energies. The World reversed here just kind of reminds me, like in the upright version of this, typically the World is like ending of a cycle or going into a new cycle or something like that. But I see this girl and this unicorn dancing and playing, having the World in their hands. And with it reversed, if you continue to be like in that King of Cups energy or the Moon energy where you're holding back, this could be your outcome of like, you won't be dancing with the World in your hands. And the relationship you will be in will be kind of, I'm hearing like manipulate the way you see the world. So maybe it's not about you manipulating or they manipulating, but it will manipulate the way you see things and relationships. This is, Four of Swords is not good energy to be in a relationship. You want something that's exciting and, Wands energy, or like Three of Cups energy, something fun, you don't want this kinds of energy. So I think that's this isn't, I think it's more of kind of like a warning if you continue to be in this Cups and King of Cups and Moon energy, that this could potentially happen for you. So when you come out of that kind of, when you're more open and communicative with your emotions, you can avoid all of this kind of energy. That's what I'm seeing in this. So, yeah. All right, I'm going to kind of clean these up a little. I'll just leave them over here just in case we want to reference them for any reason. And then we're going to go into wrapping the reading up. And we're going to take a couple cards from our Magical Unicorns deck. And then also I have one more deck called the Enchanted Unicorns that will pull as well. So what's some spirit guidance or affirmation? Ooh, got a lot. So I think this all definitely ties in with the reading that we just did for your year ahead. Love, for sure, about this self-love and self-worth stuff, and to take that into your relationships and be emotional. The answer that you're seeking is love. So remember, be emotional. Don't hold it back. You want to show that love to, if you love someone, tell them you want them to know, I think these all have to do with that project that you potentially have already started or are working to start. We saw that full reversed. We don't want to start something new necessarily. We want to finish what we started. So whatever you birthed in 2020, continue to take that into this next year for yourself and continue working on it. Your patience will be rewarded, worth waiting for. This could apply to both that idea and also your love, So don't get disheartened or down on yourself for things not happening at the time that you want. Again, divine timing is at play here. So we don't have control over that timing. And the more we try and push control on the timing we want, the more blockages and resistance we put up for things to actually come to fruition and come to a full manifestation and fully realized, right? Continue to imagine. I think this is more about like your intuition and what you see, feel, think, and hear is your wish come true. Continue to like really pay attention to your guides. We see this little fairy, up and up, like kind of bringing the unicorn some flowers. Continue to see and feel and whatever those things make you think, those are true for you, right? Use your discernment. Pay attention to those signs. Pay attention to those synchronicities. They're there, but they only mean something if you get them, if you see them and you feel them and you think and you pay attention to that thought that you have, right? Otherwise, it's just a pretty butterfly or it's just a pretty flower, but what is it that you're doing right at that moment? What are you thinking about at that moment when you see it? What is it that it's saying to you? Figure that stuff out and pay attention. That'll really, that's your divine sight and your intuition here. That you're working on and that's coming in for you. And then just be yourself. That's a great way to talk about, again, self-worth and self-value and all of that. The minute that you embrace your authentic self and you love yourself for being you and unapologetically you and not worry about so much what other people are saying or thinking or who cares what other people judge about. If they don't resonate or align with how you feel, then they don't matter anyway. Just really like be yourself and don't be afraid to be yourself. You always want people to really know and love the real you, and you need to do the same as well, All right, so we'll end with Enchanted Unicorns. A couple cards from here. All right, so we have water wheel and tubular bells. So water wheel, I think, is very much about, it says end the struggle. I think this is very much about your emotional space. Like end the struggle and move forward, like you don't have to hold back so much. Like you're causing more stress in yourself by holding back than you could just like let it out. Maybe there's, I'm just thought of this now, or this message is coming through now that maybe there's something you need to tell someone, or there's something you need to get off your chest, or an emotion that you need to get off your chest with a friend or family member, or in a relationship if you're struggling. Maybe there's a release that needs to happen. I'm also getting some purging. Maybe you just need to do some purging too, like just cry it out. I know it sucks sometimes, but it's so cleansing and healing. I've been having a couple of spouts of that over the last couple of weeks, and it's really made a difference for me. I'm a water sign though, so I tend to cry easily, but that's beside the fact. I know earth signs and you Capricorns a little bit more specifically have a tougher time with that. So maybe give yourself the space and the compassion to be able to do that. Don't shame yourself for crying. There's no shame in that. Get it out, don't hold all that stuff in. And then tubular bells, patience and trust, same thing here. We get worth waiting for. And, we saw that the Four of Pentacles here, where it's like, trust yourself, and again, with the green, patience and trust, all this is coming into you. And there's a ton of green here. So heart space, money. We also have a lot of blue emotional stuff here too. So keep that in mind. We have a lot of water. You even see this in the silence, and you see blue in the intuition. We have water here. There's a lot of water. I think majority of the reading was mostly water and cups, or I'm sorry, water and pentacles. So good energies to be in. We also see, don't forget our rainbows that we collected over here. So abundance and good things are coming in. And then let's just wrap up this message with your bottom of the deck message. Just give me a second. So, first thing I noticed is there's a ton of indigo and purple in these cards. Like every single card is that color. So that brings me to first message of crown and third eye chakra. Continue to work on those for you. Continue to do your rituals to connect with source. Continue to do whatever work you did in this silence phase. Even you can see this same color. Whatever work you did here, continue. And you see this even with this intuition card here. All the same colorings here. And imagine too, the one we talked about, listening to your signs and syncs, all the same coloring here. So what I'm really seeing is continue to work on those chakras. They're open, but just continue to keep that strong connection to source and your intuition, right? Because those, you know what you're doing. Just trust that you know what you're doing, and that you're being guided, and that you're being supported, and that you are on the right path. I see everything right here. Like you're on the right path. Embrace this goddess in you, like that. This is your nine of Pentacles energy too, right? Like this compassionate, stable person. But believe that you have the power, and believe that you have the magic in you, and believe that you have the love in you, and on all of this good stuff, like that you may have doubted in the past. Like just know that that's all of you. You're part of it. Archangel Michael is here to kind of help support you, and use the sword of truth to help the world. So use your gifts that you see, your truth that you see, and that you need to speak to the world. Like that's what you're doing. Whatever this idea is that you've been putting together, building, growing, birthing, all of this, that's your truth. That's what you need to bring to the world. Don't stop. Don't stop that. Don't start again. Don't try something. Don't restart a brand new idea. Like keep going with that idea. If you need to like reassess and maybe like reapproach from a new direction, totally fine, but don't stop. Keep going. We have the Six of Cups reversed, which I think is don't let your past feelings from something, either like an old relationship or an old wound or some kind of like past shame or guilt or something like that. Don't let that be a hurdle for you. Or this, maybe in the past you didn't think that this was possible, or maybe in the past you had weird emotions connected to this thing because you thought it was just a dream that couldn't become a true reality, but it can. And then we see creative, like draw, paint, think, act in creative ways. Like that's your idea. Confirmation that your dream is possible. Like leave this old stuff behind. Like just make peace with whatever it was and move on into being this creative. See how fast these unicorns are coming in through this water of emotion, and it's all sparkly. It's like let it flood into you, let it take you over, let this creativity just like bring in, like come towards you and bring in all of it that you need to manifest and create, make this idea really happen for you. And then for invention, again, creative, brilliant new ideas. Like you are going to continue to build on this idea, this invention that you have already birthed. You see these little like things coming out of your head. Keep going, just keep going. I mean, throughout this whole reading, I mean, that's really what keeps coming out of me is whatever it is that you're working on, keep going, keep tapping into that intuition, keep paying attention to those signs and synchronicities. Know that you're connected to source, know that you're being guided. Have that confidence like in your 9 of Pentacles and your 4 of Pentacles card that we saw. So this is a really good wrap up message, just kind of reaffirming your outlook. Really good energies coming in for you. A lot of courage and strength as long as you can get past some of this emotional blockages, some self-love, self-care, self-value, and also just being more open and communicating in the emotional space to the people you love. Okay. Well, that was a wrap on the Capricorn birthday special unicorn reading for 2021. I hope that you found some of those messages helpful, and I will be posting soon the collective reading going into next week for January 18th. I'm sorry, January 11th. It was a week ahead. So I'll be posting the collective January 11 reading coming up soon, and take care, and I will see you next time. Thanks.